to Queens. Two powerhouses. One explosive moment that no one saw coming. When boxing champion Claressa Shields locked horns with hip-hop icon Remy Ma, the internet went into absolute chaos. Was this a clash of egos? Or the beginning of a rivalry that could shake both sports and music culture? Tonight, we dive deep into the heated face-off that has everyone talking. The internet loves a showdown, but no one expected this one. Picture it. A room full of flashing cameras, star-studded guests, and the energy so thick you could feel it in your chest. On one side, Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed greatest woman of all time. The undefeated boxing champion who's broken barriers and redefined what dominance looks like in the ring. On the other, Remy Ma, the hip-hop legend whose sharp words and unapologetic presence have made her one of the most respected and feared. Women in rap, two women from two different worlds, yet both known for their fearlessness, their grit, and their refusal to back down. And when their paths collided in the most unexpected way, fans witnessed a face-off so intense that it didn't just make headlines. It broke the internet. But let's rewind, because to understand why this moment hit so hard, we need to know exactly who these women are, and why their clash meant so much more than just a brief exchange of words. Claressa Shields isn't just a boxer. She's a trailblazer, a record breaker, and a voice of defiance. Born in Flint, Michigan, she grew up facing unimaginable challenges. Poverty, violence, and doubt were constant shadows. Yet, through sheer determination, Scare rose from those harsh beginnings to stand tall as a two-time Olympic gold medalist, the first American boxer, male or female, to achieve that feat. In the professional ring, she's carved out an undefeated record, silencing critics and making history as a multi-division world champion. Her nickname, T-Rex, captures her ferocity, but it's her relentless drive that truly defines her. Claressa doesn't just fight opponents, she fights stereotypes. She fights disrespect, and she fights anyone who dares underestimate her. Remy Ma's story, while different, runs parallel in spirit. Coming out of the Bronx, Remy exploded onto the rap scene with a voice that was raw, authentic, and impossible to ignore. Under the mentorship of Big Pun, she sharpened her skills. And by the time she joined Fat Joe's Terror Squad, she was already a star in her own right. Her verses on Lean Back became iconic, and her solo work only cemented her as one of the hardest-hitting female MCs in hip-hop history. But her journey wasn't without turbulence. A high-profile prison sentence threatened to silence her career. Yet when she returned, she did it with power, resilience, and a message that made people listen. Both Claressa and Remy embody toughness, resilience, and an unshakable belief in themselves. That's why when they finally came face to face, it felt like more than just two celebrities crossing paths. It was like watching two unstoppable forces collide. So where did this intense moment happen? It wasn't in a boxing ring or on a stage. Ironically, it happened at an event meant to celebrate unity and power. A high-profile charity gala in New York City had brought together some of the biggest names in sports, music, and entertainment. The cameras were rolling, fans were buzzing on social media, and everyone expected a night of glitz, glamour, and uplifting moments. But when Claressa and Remy crossed paths, the energy in the room shifted. At first, it seemed innocent enough. Claressa, dressed in a sleek, powerful gown that highlighted her athletic frame, was surrounded by sports journalists eager to capture her thoughts about her next fight. Just a few steps away, Remy arrived with her signature style, bold, confident, and impossible to miss. When the two spotted each other, there were polite smiles. The kind of acknowledgement you'd expect between two women who knew they were both stars in their own right. But then came the spark. Reports suggest that a comment, seemingly harmless at first, set everything into motion. Some insiders claim Remy, always quick with her words, jokingly questioned Claressa's claim to being the greatest woman of all time. After all, in hip-hop, titles matter, and Remy herself has fought tooth and nail to be recognized as one of the best. The comment might have been playful, but for Claressa, whose entire career has been about demanding respect, it was taken as a challenge, and just like that, The smiles faded. Claressa squared her shoulders. Her eyes locked on Remy with the same intensity she uses to stare down opponents in the ring. Remy, never one to back down, met her gaze head-on. The room grew quiet. Guests shifted uncomfortably, sensing that this was no longer just a casual encounter. This was a showdown, verbal, emotional, and symbolic. Phones immediately came out. Dozens of angles started recording. Within minutes, clips were flying across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The internet had front row seats to what fans were calling an unexpected clash of queens. Claressa could be heard saying, "I earned my title. Nobody gave it to me. I bled for it." Her voice was steady, but the passion in her tone cut through the noise. Remy leaned in slightly, her expression calm but sharp. "And I fought for mine. Respect is respect, but don't forget, greatness ain't just about the ring." It wasn't yelling. It wasn't chaos. But it was raw, it was real, and it was tense enough to make everyone watching hold their breath. By the time security and event organizers, gently, stepped in to defuse the situation, the internet had already crowned the moment as legendary. Memes popped up comparing the face-off to a championship fight. Fan debates exploded. Who really won that exchange? Who had the stronger presence? Who's truly the GOAT in their world? But beneath the memes and the viral clips, there was something deeper at play. This wasn't just about a title. It wasn't even just about ego. It was about two women who've spent their entire lives demanding respect in industries dominated by men. Two women who've been underestimated, challenged, and doubted, yet rose above it all. When they looked at each other that night, it was as if they were staring into a mirror, seeing not just a rival, but a reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. And that's what made it unforgettable. Part 1 sets the stage for everything that follows. The internet wasn't just talking about a heated exchange, they were dissecting every word, every glance, every pause. People wanted to know, did this moment mark the beginning of a feud? Or was it simply two queens reminding the world of their power? One thing was certain: Claressa Shields and Remy Ma had just given the world a cultural moment that blurred the lines between sports and hip-hop. Respect and rivalry, admiration and competition. And as the world kept replaying those clips, everyone was asking the same question: what happens next? The face-off was over in seconds, but the impact lasted for days. By the time Claressa Shields and Remy Ma walked away from each other at that New York gala, the world had already taken sides. Social media was on fire, and the debate was louder than the music playing at the event itself. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag CLARESSAVs, Remy, hashtag GOATClash, and hashtag Queens Face Off started trending on Twitter. Fans were posting side-by-side clips, analyzing every word, every look, and every shift in body language. Some declared Claressa the winner for standing her ground like the undefeated champion she is. Others swore Remy came out on top, praising her calm composure and razor-sharp response. It was no longer just a moment, it had become a cultural showdown. It had become a cultural showdown. And this is where the story really caught fire. On Instagram, celebrities started weighing in. Rapper Fat Joe, Remy's longtime collaborator and friend, posted a cryptic Instagram story with the caption, "Bronx energy always stands tall. Don't play with us." Fans immediately connected the dots, interpreting it as a show of support for Remy. On the sports side, Claressa's fellow boxers came to her defense. Amanda Serrano, another dominant female fighter, reposted the clip with the caption, "Respect the champ. Nobody works harder." The endorsement from Serrano fueled Claressa's fans even more, with boxing Twitter practically going to war with hip-hop Twitter. The entertainment blogs had a field day. TMZ labeled it an epic celebrity face-off. The Shade Room uploaded the clip to their millions of followers, sparking a comment section that became its own battleground. Thousands of fans flooded the post, typing essays on who they thought checked who. Some comments praised Claressa's fire. Others applauded Remy's unshaken presence. Even casual fans who didn't know much about either woman before were suddenly picking sides. But what made this moment truly explosive was how relatable it felt. It wasn't just about boxing or music. It was about pride, respect, and two powerful women refusing to let anyone minimize their accomplishments. The internet thrives on conflict, but it also thrives on symbolism. And for many viewers, this face-off symbolized something bigger: the constant fight women face to prove themselves. No matter how much they've already achieved, still, the question lingered: was this real tension, or just a misunderstanding blown out of proportion? To answer that, we have to look at what happened after the cameras stopped rolling. Sources close to the event revealed that security and organizers quickly moved both women to different parts of the venue to avoid further escalation. While things never turned physical, witnesses said the energy remained thick long after the face-off ended. People in attendance couldn't stop whispering about it, and the whispers spread far beyond the room. Podcasts jumped on the story immediately. One hip-hop commentator said Remy's a lyrical heavyweight. Claressa's a boxing heavyweight. Honestly, it's two alphas clashing. This wasn't beef, it was dominance. That's why it feels so intense. Meanwhile, a sports analyst countered with, "Claressa doesn't play games. She spent her entire career fighting for recognition in a male-dominated sport. When she heard her greatness being questioned, even jokingly, it triggered her fighter's spirit. That's why she reacted. And that's why fans felt it so deeply." The debate raged on, and then came the memes. Oh, the memes. One viral post showed Claressa squaring up with a caption, "When your mom tells you to take the chicken out the freezer and you forget." Another showed Remy's calm stare with the words, "The look you give when somebody swears they're the GOAT, but you know the receipts say?" Otherwise, these memes spread the clip to audiences far beyond boxing and hip-hop fans. Suddenly, everyday internet users who barely knew who Claressa Shields was were laughing, sharing, and engaging with the story. But while fans were joking online, the women themselves stayed mostly silent, at least at first. Claressa posted a motivational message on her Instagram the next morning. "Respect isn't given, it's earned. And I earned mine with blood, sweat, and tears. Don't ever forget that." She didn't name names, but everyone knew exactly what she was talking about. Remy, on the other hand, went live on Instagram later that night. She didn't address Claressa directly, but dropped a line that had fans buzzing. "You don't gotta yell to prove your point. Real ones already know what it is." Her followers flooded the comments with fire emojis, interpreting it as a subtle clapback. And just like that, the debate only intensified. What made the moment fascinating was how different their approaches were. Claressa leaned into her fighter's mentality, direct, fiery, and unapologetic. Remy leaned into her rapper's poise.com, collected and sharp. Each style resonated with their respective fan bases, making it impossible for the internet to crown a clear winner. Meanwhile, media outlets couldn't get enough. Sports Illustrated ran a feature titled, "Claressa Shields vs. Remy Ma." The Clash of Queens complex released a think piece analyzing the cultural significance of the exchange, calling it a reminder that women of power are held to a different standard, and when they demand respect, it rattles people more than it should. The debate even reached mainstream TV. On ESPN's talk show First Take, one host joked, "Forget a crossover fight between Jake Paul and a rapper. I'd pay to see Claressa Shields and Remy Ma headline Madison Square Garden." The joke got laughs, but it also highlighted just how big this moment had become. But beneath all the noise, there was a deeper truth. Fans weren't just entertained by the face-off, they were invested. They saw parts of themselves in it. For the women watching, it felt like validation of their own daily struggles for respect, whether at work, in relationships, or in society. For the men watching, it was a reminder of the strength and presence women carry when they refuse to shrink themselves. And that's why the clip kept spreading. Days later, the face-off was still trending. Reaction videos on YouTube racked up hundreds of thousands of views. TikTok creators reenacted the exchange with exaggerated expressions. Twitter threads debated hypothetical scenarios. What if Claressa and Remy actually collaborated instead of clashing? What if they turned this into a boxing exhibition? What if it escalated further? It was official. This wasn't just a viral moment anymore. It was a full-blown pop culture phenomenon. And while fans kept fueling the conversation, behind the scenes, both Claressa and Remy were being asked the same question. Was this beef real? Or was it simply two powerful women crossing paths in a heated moment? The answer, as we'll explore in part 3, may surprise you. Because while the internet was divided, the women themselves had more to say, and it revealed a twist nobody saw coming by now. The face-off had transformed from a viral moment into a cultural conversation. Everyone had picked sides. The memes were endless. And media outlets were spinning the story like it was the biggest feud of the year. But what neither Claressa Shields nor Remy Ma expected was just how much weight their encounter would carry, and how much pressure they'd feel to finally address it. Because silence can only last so long. 3 days after the gala, Claressa broke her silence in a candid interview on a sports podcast. The host didn't waste time diving straight into the question everyone wanted answered. So Claressa, what really went down with Remy Ma that night? Claressa leaned forward, her voice firm but thoughtful. Look, I respect Remy. She's a legend. But when you work your whole life to be the best, and somebody even jokes about it, it hits differently. I've had to fight for everything I have. People doubted me, disrespected me, and ignored me. So when I hear someone question my greatness, I'm not gonna smile and let it slide. That's just not me. I'm a fighter in and out of the ring. It was a powerful statement. Claressa wasn't apologizing, and she wasn't backing down. She was explaining her fire, making it clear that her reaction wasn't about pettiness, but about protecting the respect she had earned through blood, sweat, and sacrifice. The clip went viral immediately. Fans of Claressa praised her for keeping it real. But if anyone thought that meant Remy was going to stay quiet, they were wrong. Just a day later, Remy Ma appeared on a hip-hop radio show, and of course, the first topic on the table was her run-in with Claressa. With her signature cool demeanor, Remy addressed the situation. It's funny because I wasn't even trying to come at her like that. I respect everything she's done. But I've been through my own battles. I've been locked up, counted out, told I'd never come back. And guess what? I'm still here. So when people talk about being the GOAT, I feel that. But my greatness? That don't need validation. Speaks for itself. The way she said it, calm, but layered with meaning, lit the internet up all over again. To some, it sounded like an olive branch. To others, it felt like she was subtly reminding Claressa that greatness isn't only defined by trophies or belts. And just like that, the debate deepened. Was this a feud? Was it mutual respect? Or was it both? Behind the scenes, insiders revealed that the tension wasn't nearly as personal as the internet made it out to be. In fact, some said Claressa and Remy shared a brief conversation backstage after the event. While no cameras caught it, sources claim they exchanged words that ended with a mutual nod, a silent agreement to leave the heat in the moment. But the public didn't know that yet. To them, the saga was still alive, still unresolved. And because of that, the internet kept the fire burning. Fans started calling for a collaboration. Not a fight, but something bigger. One viral tweet. Read, imagine Claressa walking out to the ring with Remy Ma performing live. That would shut the whole internet down. Another said, y'all arguing about who won the face-off? But if these two women joined forces, it would be unstoppable. That idea started to catch on. Instead of dividing, fans wanted to see Claressa and Remy unite. They had become symbols of power, resilience, and dominance in their fields. And what's more powerful than two queens coming together after the world tried to pit them against each other? It didn't take long for the media to fuel that idea. Talk shows, blogs, and even mainstream news outlets began speculating about a potential collaboration. Would Remy Ma make a song inspired by Claressa's journey? Would Claressa feature in one of Remy's music videos? Could there even be a charity boxing event with Remy walking her out? The possibilities were endless, and the hype was real. Then came the turning point. A week after the gala, Claressa and Remy shocked everyone by appearing together at another event in New York. This time, instead of facing off, they stood side by side, smiling for the cameras. Claressa in a sharp, tailored suit and Remy in a bold designer dress posed like nothing had ever happened. When asked about the viral clip, Claressa laughed. "It was a moment, y'all. Don't blow it up more than it was," Remy added with a smirk. "Two strong women in one room, that's always going to be intense. But don't get it twisted, there's no beef. Just respect." And just like that, the internet exploded all over again. But this time it wasn't memes of rivalry, it was celebration. Fans cheered at the sight of both women squashing the tension, turning what could have been a messy feud into a moment of solidarity. What made it even more iconic was what they revealed next. At that event, Claressa announced she was partnering with a major brand to launch a women's empowerment campaign. And standing right beside her, Remy Ma revealed she'd be contributing to the campaign with a new anthem focused on strength and resilience. In other words, what started as a face-off had transformed into a collaboration, a fusion of boxing and hip-hop that no one saw coming. The internet loved it. Headlines shifted from Clash of Queens to Queens Unite. Fans who had spent days debating now came together to celebrate. What was once a viral moment of tension had evolved into a cultural moment of empowerment. Looking back, the face-off wasn't really about beef. It was about energy. The kind that happens when two powerful figures, who've fought tooth and nail to earn their place, stand face to face. Claressa and Remy may have clashed in the heat of the moment, but ultimately, they recognized something bigger. Their shared journey. Their shared struggles and their shared power. That's why this story broke the internet. Not because it was messy, but because it was real. Because in a world that constantly pits women against each other, Claressa Shields and Remy Ma flipped the script. They turned conflict into conversation, and conversation into collaboration. And now, instead of asking who won the face-off, fans are asking something far more powerful. What will these two queens do next, whether it's in the boxing ring or on the stage? One thing is certain. Claressa Shields and Remy Ma just proved that when women refuse to back down, they don't just break the internet, they change the culture. And there you have it, Claressa Shields and Remy Ma's face-off that shook the culture, sparked a firestorm online, and then flipped the script into something bigger than anyone expected. But now the question is, what do you think? Was this a clash of egos? Or was it simply two powerful women standing their ground in a world that constantly underestimates them? Did Claressa win with her fiery passion? Or did Remy's calm composure steal the moment? Or maybe, just maybe, the real victory came when they showed the world that queens don't have to tear each other down. They can stand together and dominate. I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment right now and let me know who you think held their ground the best. Team Claressa, Team Remy, or Team Queens Unite. Don't just watch the drama. Be part of the conversation. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you never miss the next explosive story shaking the culture. Trust me, what's coming next is even bigger.